Best of r/entitled parents episode 56. I found about this sub on YouTube, so I thought I'd share an anecdote from the year 2000, which still gets many laughs at gatherings. We were taking a vacation in the UK, when we come across a restaurant/pub with a penchant for hot spicy food. On a side table, they had a collection of hot sauces you could order or just add to your food. While we were sitting, eating and chatting, a kid of about 10 to 12 with a strong American accent approaches the sauce table and asks a server to try one of the sauces. Something with a scary, ungodly name. I think he was attracted by the name and the totally metal artwork. The server says that the sauce is extremely strong, and he wouldn't want him to get hurt. The kid starts insisting. The server can't even reply before, from one of the nearby tables, comes and "Excuse me" in the same accent the kid was using. A very overweight, but not obese, woman swivels on her chair and approaches the scene while saying, "Is the custom here to refuse service to paying customers?" Exact words. The guy replies that he's sorry, he was only concerned for the kid. Mother says that he doesn't need to concern himself with other people's children, and her son likes spicy food anyway. The poor guy tries again to explain that the sauce, damn I swear I remembered the name until 5 minutes ago, is not merely spicy, but the mum cut him off with a fine. "I'll have a taste then, you won't object to that?" He says of course not, and even hands himself a craft stick dipped in the sauce to her. They return to their table, the server returns to his job. Hardly 10 seconds go by, and the kid lets out a prolonged wail, starts coughing and crying, and generally acting like a kid in severe pain. Yes, the mother had handed him the stick from hell without even tasting it. But, that's not the best part. She then starts to scream bloody murder, calling for the manager, security, the police, and maybe the UN and a couple of saints to join in. She makes such a fuss that, after most servers and the manager get there, 2 policemen who were just passing by arrived. In the chaos, she is accusing the server of maliciously giving her son the stupidly hot sauce, because he didn't like him, and that he told them he hated them because they were Americans. The guy was panicked and was getting too apologetic to actually defend himself, but the manager was quicker on his wits, and managed to get the server, the mother and the policeman to follow him to the office, because it turns out there were security cameras. Now, we were done eating, but we wouldn't have missed the conclusion even if they had paid for our meal, so we waited a bit. Something like 10-15 minutes go by. The kid seemed to calm down eventually, presumably lesson learned. Suddenly, there's a commotion from the back, and the mother is carried out and away by the policeman, while she's in a full tantrum, kicking and screaming, and demanding to call her embassy and whatnot. The poor man, who I assume was her husband, gets on his feet, and tries to calm her down and to understand what's happening. The 2 policemen explain that after reviewing the tape, she grabbed that very VHS tape, yes, they were using VHS, from the office desk and smashed it on one of the policemen's head, who had simply asked her why did she lie about something that serious. I then noticed one of them had a bump/scratch on the side of his forehead, and thus she was being arrested, or detained. I'm not from the UK and don't remember exactly, just, how stupidly entitled can you be to smash a cop on the head with the very evidence of you lying to them? Edit. Typos. Format. Thank you. Next. I saw a story the other day that reminded me of this one, so I hope you guys enjoy. The ending is kinda anticlimactic, but it's still entitled, so here we go. Also, I'm on mobile, sorry for formatting issues. TL. Doctor at bottom. Cast, me, OP, EM. Entitled Dog Mom. Also important, our landlord's no ex-wife. D. My dad. M. My mom. This was a few months ago, so sorry if some of the details may be a little fuzzy. Backstory. So this EM comes to our door the first time. D goes out to answer the door for her. They have a conversation. I wasn't there for most of it, so I'm not sure what all they said, and after a while I go to the door to see what's taking D so long. We were having dinner at the time. When I get there I say hello and do the usual greeting ritual. This is how the convo goes. Me, noticing the very large cast on her left arm. Hi. Oh, if you don't mind me asking, what happened? EM, not acting very entitled yet. No, I don't. Goes on a rant about how her husband assaulted her, I can't remember exactly what she said. D. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I hope you recover quickly. This is when I'll leave to go eat some more dinner. D tells us that she asked for some rent money, and he told her no because her name isn't on the lease, so we can't pay her. Only her husband's name is on it. She takes the no, and leaves. Surprising. Okay. Fast forward about a month. It comes time to pay rent again, so M meets up with the landlord. Nice guy BTW. I didn't buy her story on him shattering her arm. Rent is paid, life is good. Until EM and her little dog show up at our door again. Enter EM at our door. EM starts knocking and furiously ringing our doorbell. Seriously, she knocked and rang the doorbell at least 30 times each. I'm not exaggerating, I promise. She doesn't knock lightly either, she knocks like a F-king giant. This is when it starts to get a little scary for me, at least. Important also, we are eating dinner. Once again, she comes late at night, so we don't answer the door. EM, who doesn't even know if we're home, yelling at our door, Heidi, this is Karen. I just came to get the rent. We don't answer. We figure she'll go away after a couple knocks. EM, if you don't answer the door, I'm coming in. We don't answer. EM, I'm going to kill you if you don't answer this door right FCKING now. So now I'm ready to call the cops. This is harassment at our home, by a person we have no affiliation with. Also, she's yelling death threats at our door. The nerve, I swear. Anyway, back to the story. EM tries the door handle. What the hell was she gonna do if IT was unlocked? Come into our house. So after about 15 more minutes of that, D is so done with her shit. He's not a confrontational guy, but when he needs/wants to be, he is. He's intimidating to people who don't know him because he's 6'3". He's not going to oblige to her requests to answer the door, so he opens the garage and goes out that way. Here's what I heard. D. Get the FCK off my property or I will call the cops. EM. Oh, so you were home? D. Yeah, you crazy BTCH. Now leave. EM. No, not until you pay me. D. Well, that isn't going to happen, is it? D. Closes garage door and comes back into the house. EM. As the door is closing. FCKU. Give me a copy of the lease, you bastard. Now obviously we aren't gonna do that because why would we? We have no obligation to her. Anyway, that was my story. I hope you guys enjoyed. TL. Doctor. EM comes to our door yelling death threats and demanding rent money for a house that she is not on the lease for. Edit. I forgot to mention we know that her husband did not assault her because the second time she came the cast was not on her arm. She said she shattered it, so I would assume she would have a cast for much longer. Thank you. Next. Okay, this is kinda a part 2 to one of my other post here. Since that post, my grandma got involved. She's staying with us while coping with the death of her husband. It's not so bad, but oh well. Some context if you haven't read the other post. I want to move out of the US. Badly, preferably to Germany, and my mom is not happy with it. Her reasoning is that I have autism spectrum disorder and I won't be able to handle it. My dad doesn't care as long as I'm not stupid. Anyway, onto the story. Cast, me, Germany bound freak M, my mom GMA, my grandma. I am sitting at the table doing work when my entitled mom comes up and drops a journal in front of me. What's that? M. I dunno. You tell me. I flip through the pages and my heart dropped. It's my journal with stories that a friend told me of her time in Germany. She and her fam were deployed to Germany and told me all these stories about it, and I wrote them down in a journal. Me. This is my journal. M. Yes. Me. What's wrong? I knew very well why she was pissed at me. M. Raising her voice. You aren't allowed to talk about, see, look up, think of, go to, or live in Germany. Me. Why not? M. Gives a luang spiel about how bad it is over there and how Germany started WW2. She probably even said Hitler may come back from the dead. I dunno. Me. But mom, it's my dream. M. I don't care. You are my daughter. You have to stay here. You are an American. Me. Technically, my DNA says I'm European. She storms off to rant to my porn GMA. I tuck my beloved journal away in my purse and try to refocus on my schoolwork. Later, My poor GMA comes and sits next to me and has a stack of papers. GMA, why Germany? You never told me why you want to go there. Me, well, one of my best friends lived there when she was. GMA, no, why? Me, already air it because I want to. GMA, goes on her own spiel about how politically unstable that place is and shows me statistics of how many people hate Germany for World War II and how horrible it is. Me, if America can get its feet back under us politically, then I'll consider staying. I went to my room and thought of my choices that mom gave me. Oops, thinking about Germany again lol. Since I get up early to go with dad every Sunday, I got an idea. This is where a little r/pity revenge comes in. I went downstairs and changed my computer screensaver to a cool spray paint picture of the German flag with Deutschland written on it. Here it is, in case you were wondering. And on Sunday, I wore a red dress and did my eyeshadow accidentally as the German flag. Her reaction when she really looked at it was priceless. I may post it if enough ask for it. I'm sorry to all the German users out there who are insulted by my mom. I don't like her either. She took advantage of my dad's being at work to tell me that I need to stay home and be her slave. Thank you. Next. So first some background story. I am a 14-year-old in love with cars. I play a lot of car games and I am now trying to fix one by myself and a few friends. I was on a car meet where people show off their tuned cars and amazing and expensive cars. I was there alone and the rest of my family did go shopping in a nearby mall, so the Karen we name EM. I am JV and the car guy would be CG. So I was walking aside some cars and talked to a few people. They love to see my interest in cars. I met someone, let's name him JJ, and I should have gone with him for the rest of the day. I went to the meet with JJ and EM saw that and boy she wasn't happy to see that. She thought she can put her 3 dirty, gross and ugly kids with us to watch out on them. The conversation went like this. CG, Mom, you can't go here. EM, sure I can, the boy is here too. JJ, yeah, I took him with me because he is really interested in cars and those meetups. EM, so what? Then you take my kids with you too. Those angels won't hurt to fly. One of the kids was touching a Ferrari 599XX Evolution and that is not good. CG, they are touching my car, I do not want that. EM, just let him go, he won't break your car and even if he does it was already an ugly car. Security was called and she was set off the car meet. When the meet was over they would go out for a street race. It was all official BTW, and I could go with JJ and his Huracan P and it was amazing, but 3 minutes before the race started EM showed up and started screaming against CG why wouldn't take her boy with him. CG, can you please go away? EM, sure, can you take one of my kids with you then? CG, no I can't because my car needs to be light on weight. EM, but why would that ugly boy go in that car? CG, because the car don't drive on weight. EM, ugh, let me speak to the host. I started laughing. Host, Mom, could you please leave? EM, what? Why? I just want to give my kids a happy time and this stupid man is ruining the moment. Host, is that so CG? CG, no, she wants one of her kids to drive with me. EM, and why can't that child ride with him then? Host, Mom, I need to ask you to leave. EM, no, you are all crazy, I am staying here and my kid is going into that car. Host, security. Security sets head of the event for the second time. 10 minutes later police shows up but they missed the started and starts enjoying the show. EM was mad when she saw the police and started throwing stuff at the cars, at least she was arrested. It was one of the best days of my life. Thank you. Next. If you haven't read the previous story, here's the link. https://www.reddit.com/r/entitledParents/comments/eo6eoy/ed tries to steal my 3000 bike XL/. Since today is the next day of school, I wanted to post what was the reaction/consequence. Surprisingly, EK came to school and was trying to show off the bruise me and my friend created yesterday. People weren't happy about this. They already knew the whole story because my friend wrote it in the biggest group chat of the grade and word started to spread around about how he was a homophobic slur. It's used commonly in Italy by the youth. Because of this he went to complain about the name telling and the pushing around to the headmaster and told him about what happened yesterday. 13/01/2020, without disclosing the attempted bike theft. Because of this I was called to the headmaster's office and had a meeting with him. Told him the true story and told him about my best friend being a witness. Then the worst happened. ED&DK busted in and demanded that I needed to be expelled. He had a quick chat with ED and I have been suspended for 2 days. My mom is now furious and is threatening to sue the school because it shouldn't be allowed and what is done out of school grounds isn't their business. Thank you. Next. So this took place in the summer of 2016 when I worked on NCS. This is a youth program where 16-year-olds live away from home for 2 weeks, learn how to live independently and then partake in a social action project for another 2 weeks. For this, the young people are split into teams, and usually, the teams will not change unless there is a serious issue. This is important later. Cast, me equals me, James equals Karen's son, Karen equals entitled mom. I was a team leader, my team was 15 people, and they were all lovely. However, the day before we were set to leave for the first week, I get a call from Karen. Hi, this is Karen. My son James was meant to leave on the 15th of July, but I was wondering if he could be moved to the 9th of July because he doesn't get along with the people on his team. The 9th is the wave I'm going on, so the decision has to go to my wave lead. Me. Hi, this is Red. I'm afraid I can't make the decision, but I can pass it on to my wave lead and see what he says. I can ask him to call you back. That would be amazing. Thank you. I pass on the information to my wave lead and forget about it because I have a load of paperwork to do. 2 hours later, I get given James' paperwork. James has been moved to the 9th of July wave, and he's been placed on my team. He moved waves because he had fallen out with his friends on his old team, and was specifically placed in my team because Karen didn't want him on a team with people from his school. My team was the only one that didn't have anyone from his school, so it seemed like the logical choice. I go through the paperwork and make all the finalizations, moving him to a room in the activity center that didn't have anyone from his school because it seemed like the right thing to do at the time. Fast forward to midnight on the 10th of July, I'm on the night shift, get another call from Karen. Hi Red, this is Karen. I have a complaint. Me. Hello, Karen. I'd be happy to take your complaint. Good. James is unhappy with his team because he doesn't know anybody on his team. They all go to different schools. They all have at least one friend and he has nobody. And he's sharing a room with complete strangers. I sense that I can't win this battle, but luckily when things like this happen, it can be sorted relatively quickly. Me. Yes, he was put on my team because you asked that he was placed on a team with nobody from his school, and my team was the only one without a person from his school. I moved him to a different room so he'd be with people on his team, as that is our policy. Well, I want him moved to a team where he at least knows somebody. I didn't ask for him to be alone like this, and I want him to have his own room. Me. He can't move teams when the program has commenced, as we have no way to change the paperwork, and he can't have his own room as there are no free rooms in the center we are at. Well, I want to speak to your boss. He was moved once before. You can do it again, surely? Me. No, we can't. Moves are only done in cases of special circumstances such as illness or family emergency. You asking for him to be moved and then complaining that we did it does not constitute. I can pass you on to the wave lead, but he will tell you the exact same thing. Karen just hung up on me, so I passed on the call to the wave lead, who was pissed off about the whole ordeal. Late on the 11th, Karen shows up having driven halfway across the country, without even calling first. I'm here to take James home. He isn't happy with his team and UPRP'n't been very helpful. I also want my £50 for his place back. Me. Sorry, you need to clear this with the wave lead and the head of program, not me. And the places are non-refundable. Karen turns bright red. What? So even though you have been unhelpful, you won't let me take him home where he'll be happy? And why can't I get a refund? Me. Due to policy, I can't just let him go. I've texted the wave lead. He's coming right now. And the places normally cost £1,500 but due to government subsidies only cost you £50. Due to this, places are non-refundable. There is nothing I can do about it. Fine. The wavelet comes and begins a shouting match with Karen after she starts threatening to call the police and say we kidnapped her son. Finally, we agree to let James go because we can't be bothered to argue. I pull out the paperwork I need to fill out. 10 sheets. It takes forever to do, and I am exhausted. I start to slowly slog through it all. Kay, what are you doing? Let me take James or I'll have you done for kidnapping. Me, I have to do all this paperwork. Pass it to the wavelet, then pass it to head of the program for them all to fill their bits out and sign off before we can let you take James. I also need to see Sumit. She throws her driving license at me. Kay, can you hurry it up? It took me 5 hours to drive here. I want to take James and go home. Me, if you'd called ahead and told us you were taking him, the paperwork would have been done by the time you got here. I have to fill it out right or it'll look like I lost a child. I'm sorry that us accommodating your wishes for James to move have caused these issues for you, but I'm running on 2 hours sleep and I'm due to clock off in an hour, so this inconveniences me as much as it does you. Kay, this is ridiculous. I'm calling the police. Me, do it. She calls the police while I sit there doing the paperwork, and they arrive just as I'm finishing the last piece, passing it on to my wavelet. I tell them the same thing I told Karen, and they understand completely and stay to keep her calm while we finish the paperwork. 2 hours after I was meant to clock off, James and Karen leave, and I treat myself to a nice cold can of Coke. Later on, we find out that Karen was fined for wasting police time. She actually told them that we'd tried to kidnap her son. The higher-ups were not too happy about all that paperwork. Thank you. Next. Whoa, this sub has really grown this year. Hard to believe we are almost to 1 million subscribers in such a short amount of time. It's time for Reddit's Best of 2019 awards. Choose your favorite r/entitledParents submission or comment of 2019. Make your nominations here and /or upvote your favorites. You are welcome to categorize your nominations, i.e., Best Post, Best Comment, Best of Year. Only one nomination per comment. Please do not nominate yourself. You may only nominate submissions made in 2019. This thread is set to contest mode, which sorts comments randomly and hides vote scores. In January, the votes will be tallied and a results thread will be posted. We will give Reddit gold to the top submissions.